had been hearing PIL on the Chandigarh mayoral polls, and that hearing is underway. Now, the Chief Justice of India has examined 8 invalid votes. The CJI has questioned the returning officer and said that 8 ballot papers are not defaced. Why put a mark on the 8 ballot papers? That's what the Chief Justice of India has asked the returning officer, Anil Masih. The returning officer is facing scrutiny in this matter. Remember, after his videos emerged of him allegedly tampering with these 8 ballot votes. All 8 votes went to Aam Aadmi Party candidate. That's what the Supreme Court has said. Meanwhile, Abhishek Manu Singhvi has said that the poll officer must be punished. The CJI has said these votes are to be considered valid and declare results on the basis of these votes. These are some very, very significant observations that have been made by the Supreme Court right now while it hears this matter in the top court. Let me go across to my colleague Rame, who's joining us on the phone line. Rame, a huge setback for the returning officer who had been defending himself, saying that he did not tamper. But the CJI now saying that the 8 ballot papers are valid. They all went to the Aam Aadmi Party candidates, and therefore the results should now be declared on the basis of these 8 ballot papers, which had been declared invalid. What more did happen in the top court? All right, we'll try and connect with Rame. There seems to be an audio issue, but remember, this is the breaking news that is coming in from the Supreme Court right now, where the Chief Justice of India has said that the 8 ballot papers are not defaced, and they've questioned once again the returning officer, Anil Masih, as to why he put a mark on these 8 ballot papers. All 8 votes had gone to the Aam Aadmi Party candidate, and therefore these should be considered as valid, and the results of the Chandigarh mayoral polls should now be announced on the basis of these 8 valid ballot papers. That's what the Chief Justice of India has said a short while back in the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, Abhishek Manu Singhvi has also said, in fact urged the top court, that a severe punishment should also be given to the returning officer, Anil Masih. Remember, the Supreme Court had been hearing this matter yesterday as well, and the CJI had asked the returning officer to get those 8 ballot papers that had been declared invalid to the court so that the court can examine them and give their observations on it. All right, we have my colleague Rame back on the phone line with us. Rame, what transpired in the court? The CJI has made some very, very significant observations regarding the matter, also saying the fact that these 8 votes should be considered valid and that the results should now be announced on the basis of the inclusion of these 8 votes.
Yes, these big remarks have come from the Chief Justice of India, who's hearing the matter. Let me clarify that the hearing is still ongoing, and these remarks have been made. The Chief Justice said that the 8 ballot papers are not defaced by the councillors, and it was further asked by the officer that why did you put a mark on them? Yesterday, you told us that you were marking the defaced ballots, and the court had asked the Registrar General of the Punjab and Haryana High Court to bring all the ballot papers, to bring all the videos and everything before the Supreme Court today. While physically examining them, the bench led by the Chief Justice physically examined them today and found that the papers were not defaced. The ballot papers were not defaced. And upon noting that, the court orally observed that what we will do is we will ask them to consider these 8 papers and mark them and treat them as not defaced. So that's a very, very big remark coming from the CJI, which means that these 8 papers which were being treated as defaced and crossed will now be counted in the favor of the Aam Aadmi Party councillors. The hearing is still ongoing. We'll be giving more updates once an order is passed. Over to you.
Absolutely. Rame, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Of course, we'll have to see what the court says now on Anil Masih, the returning officer as well. Remember, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, the lawyer presenting this case, has been asking the court to hand out a punishment for the returning officer as well for tampering with these votes. Let's see what the top court says. But for now, we know that the CJI has made these remarks during the hearing where he said that these 8 ballot papers should now be considered valid and results should be announced.